So my first thoughts around seeing myself as an individual within the company. I'm very pleasantly surprised with the photographs actually. I think I look quite strong in them and I've got a strong sense of performance. Shows like a variety of different skills, kind of some contact work, working as an ensemble, and also like as an individual as well. With Lee's work, obviously we are an ensemble, but there's very distinct different things going on with us movement wise, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like the pictures that I've got displayed here are very diverse. They're not very samey at all. So like for instance here I can see that actually I would take quite a bit of risk that I didn't necessarily recognise before seeing this type of image, and I can see that from this one, which is quite a good facial shot, I can see that I do connect with the audience, or at least I've got my head up on them in that kind of manner, and the contact work. I think that the images that we've got really do show the great diversity of the work that we've been doing with 12 Degrees, which is
definitely
great.
Our sort of variety of skills that we can take away from that.
Yeah, definitely.
And use in the future.
I would say that there's a range of photographs in rehearsal and performances, and from looking at all of these images, I can see that I've been working within a dance company, 12 Degrees North, in a range of different theatres and settings. So in this image, for example, I'm rehearsing in the Lowry Theatre, and I think, you know, we've got Giorgio there, who's our rehearsal director, and he's quite, you know, he's more well known in the industry than us graduates, so it might help having him in the image. And giving a context of the company.
I think images help graduates to recognise their potential in relation to employability, because the images are so versatile as well. Some of the images are, like you said, in the actual theatre spaces, although we're not wearing costume. I think this is taken in the Blackpool Grand. Some are also on the stage as well, which is nice because you get to see a different aspect of the work. Some are taken actually in performance, so it shows you in performance mode as well.
So reflecting on these pictures that we've got in front of us here, and about how we see ourselves as an individual and as a group, I think it's really exciting how, to start with, I think you always look for yourself in an image, and it's quite easy to be critical or really think, like, where am I in the image? But then, for example, this one, like I see me and then I see you, and everyone kind of pops out, and it really strengthens the image. And I think sometimes it's tempting, you know, if you're going to use a photo for something, I might go, oh, you know, like crop it so that was just me, or that was just me in this. But actually, looking at these, it's really made me realise that all those other people around you in the image and how you're working together actually really strengthens what you're doing as an individual. And it's more powerful than if you just kind of went, oh, that's me, and you actually miss where the images are as well, like that one there with the lights, and how it's on both of us, or backstage and things like that. I think it's really important for
I think the group shots, it's really good in a way, because especially in the whole process you're so involved in yourself, especially Lee's piece, because there's so much detail, so there is a lot of time thinking I have to be here. So it's kind of nice in the way we've kind of stepped out of the piece, and we can see now the full image of what the audience is going to see, and it's nice to see us all together, and actually gives a better idea of the piece.
Yeah, I think Lucid, that really does feel like a team, the work we did with James. Whereas Lee's, it was so specific, we really did have to, it was like an individual journey, where's my foot, where's this? And obviously you are aware of all that going on around you, but it really was quite inwards, and like you say, it's so nice to see how it all came together out from an outside point of view. Even better than it probably would do in a film, because you just see like it's so strong and powerful in the colours and things. Yeah.
I've really tried to think, kind of with my initial responses, I've really tried to think from an outsider's perspective, from almost like an employer's perspective, rather than looking at myself as you would at a normal photograph. I think you can't think about it like that, really. You've got to look from an outsider's perspective. And what you would think, if I was looking at your website, or I was looking at this person's website, removing myself from that, I would think, oh wow, there's a variety of skills, a variety of work. I can see in rehearsal it still looks as strong as it does in the performance of the finished product. So that's where I'm trying to come from, really, with my initial response.
Yeah, I tried to detach from the pictures as well, because it is very easy to start criticising yourself.
Definitely.
But I tried to detach from that and look at the positives as opposed to, oh, my foot's not quite turned out or whatnot. I've looked at what I would look at the same as you in terms of what's the strength of that particular photograph. And as we said before, like, they are all very diverse in what they're showing, which is great. Yeah, initial responses.
I would say that the movement is quite athletic and physical. So I'm performing movement that is quite daring and requires some strength. So it would show that I was quite a strong dancer to employers.
I think my initial responses, I'm quite shocked, because dance is quite a personal journey. It's an internal journey. You never really see what it really looks like on the outside. I'm very happy with the images. They've really captured certain spirits of the piece. I think some of the action shots are really quite impressive. And again, you're looking at a different art form. Photography is completely different to the actual dance itself. You've caught it in the action of something, but that's a movement. That's an image that we pass through rather than it's just a static movement. So I'm very happy with it. I think it does show different versatility because the pieces are so diverse as well.
I think these are our initial responses because of, I think sometimes in the process you get a bit wrapped up in the personal struggle and everything's kind of a bit about yourself and where am I going in terms of where do I want to be dancing, what style do I want to be doing, and I think then in the pictures you expect kind of to see you and where your journey is, and you do, but then you see that in the context of the group. So it's not like, oh well, like I struggled through this and then we found this image and that, but it comes together as a whole unit, as a company, and that's something really strong that I feel that we've gathered and grown together.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, with these pictures as well, especially Lee's piece, the costume, the colours are quite vibrant, and the group piece really stands out. Like the image here, you can see the bright green, all the makeup, the face expressions as well, really strong. So it is kind of nice to see everyone's face expressions, because I know mine, but I've never seen yours.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see. Oh,
There's some really interesting ones.
yeah.
Definitely.
I think that can help you as well, because like there's one image where Andre's faces really sticks out to me, so I can kind of think, oh wow, that's really powerful, and I can take that back for next time, do the piece thing.
It's something to
I'll
aim
take-
for,
yeah,
isn't it? I guess
I'll take
that's
some of his
it's that
energy.
transferable skills thing that we've probably learnt so much more from watching each other than we ever realised. And it's nice to have each other in those images, so it's not kind of forgotten, like, thank you very much, I've taken that from you, and taking it forwards, like it really feels like we're going forwards together. I think that's good.
So in terms of employers and funders looking at our portfolio of images, I think the key thing would be versatility. So we're not just performers who do one thing, one kind of work, one skill set. we do so many different things, probably more than we could ever really think of and list if we were to do that. But actually the images already, you can look at each one and pick something that, you know, like contact work and floor work and being really grounded and wearing quite a bizarre costume and all the challenges that brings, being really expressive, like within Lee's piece. Like I'd never done anything like that before, kind of thinking about where my eyes were or whatever. And there's so much in each image that you kind of almost, like, we could take for granted, I suppose, because we're in the work and we're kind of used to that now. But again, kind of thinking from an outsider's perspective, you can see all those different skills that you can tick off. But
Yeah, I think they're also looking for like experience. So it's great that with the tour that we've done, we've got really great professional looking photographs from 2 different pieces, and they're very different pieces as well. So it's showing that we've not only got experience in contact work or in ensemble, we've got experience in other aspects. And the fact even that we're having these photographs taken in itself shows the level that we're kind of working at and the involvement that goes into it, and showing that we work not just as a team of dancers but as a bigger thing. I think that they really reflect that.
I think that's a really good point, actually. I'd not thought about that, because we're on stage and there's all those things that, you know, the tech run and spacing things and getting used to the lights, and we've got experience in those things as well that again we could take for granted and not really consider. But when you've not done those things, it's a huge deal, really. But we've got experience in those things, and we know lighting takes time, and we know spacing takes time, and it's really important, otherwise the piece just goes to pot. So it's all those things, really.
I would say that the key thing that most employers are looking for is experience, and the more experience you have documented online through images will benefit you. If they go to research you online, they're going to find that you've performed in work such as Lucid or Lee's piece.
I think the employers and funders are looking for, again, a versatility of you as a performer, but also a sense of personality as well. It shows a bit of technique, but also it shows you a bit of power behind some of these photos, which is a really useful tool to have. I think an image speaks 1,000 words, and some of these images definitely jump out the page and kind of take you into the process rather than just a flat image. Also, some of these images, everyone looks really quite strong as well, so it shows that you can work as part of a group, which is a useful, employable tool. I'm a team worker, or as a solo member as well, I can take responsibility and work by myself.
So thinking about what employers and funders might be looking for in these images, and how the images might reflect our personalities to employers, or the way that we move, and like the essence of where that's coming from. I think that they just capture a moment as it was, obviously there, but all of these, they weren't still, we were going through the movements, and that's something that only a still image can kind of capture. And I think these 2 employers then capture really a diverse array of movements. I really like that one there of where I'm catching Helen, she's falling back onto me and her hair's like flying right backwards. Obviously with gravity that wouldn't be normal, but you get that sense of you really falling back and your head coming over the top. And then there's others, like in Lee's, a bit different to James, where they are more still. So I think as an employer, I'd really look at that and think, wow, like it's just such a dynamic moment that's been captured. What do you think?
I think high quality image is really important, because in a way, if an employer has only got images of you, that's how he's perceiving your work. So if you've got this really poor quality image, it's kind of okay, that's how he's going to perceive you. If you've got really high quality images that show you can do loads of different things, different pieces, then they'll take away that impression of you just from this image, rather than, yeah, they've done a bit maybe, instead of, wow, they've done this, they've done that. That piece is really different to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's really important.
I think our personalities really jump out as well. I think sometimes I think about myself that an image has to be quite serious, you know, if your legs really high and something quite, I don't know, quite serious about it, whereas these, a lot of personality seems to jump out of the page. And actually something like this one of me sat stretching, I think I would actually use, say on a website or something like that, more than one with my leg like flying up in the air, because actually to an employer I think that really reflects my personality and like my attitude towards the way I would work. So sometimes I think I would think about that differently now, having seen these, even some of the ones backstage and working together in groups. Sometimes I think a personality would be more important than, you know, like a specific, I've jumped and hit a leap or something like that, maybe.
In terms of employers and funders who look at, say, our websites, I think the images are really important. It's something I'd not really considered until more recently. I was at a Dance UK funding seminar, if you will, and they were saying that if you submit like a G4A to the Arts Council, what they'll do is then they'll look at your website quite often. You'll maybe give the link to that, and yeah, they'll check you out from there really. So I suppose they are really important, because they're going to sort of make or break that in a way. And if they can see the experience you've had, then that's only going to strengthen your application for things like that. So I think, yeah, they're really important.
I think we're also really lucky that we've not only got photographs from the performances, that we've got things from being in the rehearsal studio or just going through the dress runs or the tech runs. Like, it's a really well-rounded set of photographs that we've got, so they can see how you kind of get on as a person, not just as a performer, because the pictures have really captured those sides of each of us, I think.
Definitely,
as well.
Yeah, and how we work as a team.
Yeah.
I think, and professionalism.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that they're very important. Images reflect all sorts of things, skills and attributes that are required to carry out the role of a performer. They can capture, for example, how you work with other people, your skill base, but they can also capture your experience, and that you have an ability to work in a theatre with other dancers on stage.
I think it depends on the employer and the funder. Some of these images I would definitely use for performance style work, but for funding this gives a chance for us to show some of the work that we've already have done. It might be very similar in the future. My work in the future could reflect some of these images. It might be very different, but it shows a clear documentation of people we've worked with, other dancers that we've worked with, and theatre spaces that we've worked in as well, which is really useful. If you had something on a website as well, it's really useful to have an image that you've worked with either in rehearsal that shows you this kind of sense of personality and your professionality in the rehearsal studio, the rehearsal process, as well as your performance aspects on stage as well, which kind of will be different. So, yeah.
Also, adding to it, these are quite high quality images, and you know, the quality of these images, you know, a professional has taken the photographs, that gives a sort of sense of professionalism about the work. The fact that we've had photographers taking professional photos rather than someone picking up a camera and taking a photograph. So that could reflect the nature of the work that we've been doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So looking at the images and thinking about which ones best reflect us as artists in rehearsals or as a performer, I think they're all very strong images, so I think there would be use for each one actually. I think, like we've kind of picked up on already, kind of the rehearsal photographs. It does demonstrate that professionalism, that work ethic, and how you can deliver even though it's just a run for the lights, say, and we'll still give it as much as we would for the performance. So that's something that's really important, as well as the finished product of the actual performances themselves, that moment in time, that captured moment in time. So, and also the ones that demonstrate how well we get on as a team, because
Definitely.
if you're working in a company, you need to be a team player. So I think there's a purpose for them all, really. So.
Yeah, I think for me, particularly, I enjoy different types of work, and I think that they would be suitable for different types of jobs. So it's really great that we've, as we've said before, got that range. So if I was looking for something which may be more dance theatre based, perhaps I'd want to take, I'd probably say something like this image, which really shows my connection with the audience, for example. And I think with having such a wide range of photographs through the processes, it would be quite easy to pick different ones and really tailor it to each job type, but also then to throw like a wild card and be like, I can also do this, but to kind of tick the boxes for employers, but then also show off something else.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Definitely.
yeah, I think that would be me as a performer.
I think that I would choose ones in working spaces and studio spaces to reflect the way I work in terms of work ethic, but I think performance photos are stronger images if you're applying for performance work because it shows that you have experience.
I've got a few different photos that I'd definitely use. Some of Lee's work was physically demanding on the face, that you have to really be aware of what your face is doing. So it gives a chance to show off your facial gesture, and you're really trying to perform out to the audience. Whilst Lucid, the focus, the direction is far more to the ground. So you're really using your body to kind of physicalize and internalize that feeling. Some of these images are working images. An image that I'm going through. It shows off some of the strength, the height of power of a jump, but also that you can connect with someone. Some of these images as well show us we've all clearly hit a line at one time, which is a beautiful moment when you're working in unison. You definitely know you've hit that. So, yeah, I would use some of these images for that.
Cool. So having to think about what ones we might select for a particular purpose. So certain jobs we might have use one or another. What do you think you would use?
I think
for different things.
If it was a performance job, maybe I was sent on a portfolio of images, I'd probably use this one because it looks, especially with kind of the smoke and stuff, and you can tell this is a performance
atmospheric and professional.
Maybe something like these ones, just because I think it's nice to catch something in movement, the kind of spiral thing as well.
There,
it shows kind of a nice movement.
I think strength as well in that one for you. You can really see. And actually that one down there of me preparing for a jump, you can really see how like the head's twisting around. Something like that, like before or an after. Because I think sometimes when you're rehearsing, you think of kind of the main movement as the big explosive bit and things like that, but some of these have captured some of those quieter moments that when I've watched the whole piece of Lucid, like I wouldn't really think of, like that one spiral, or, as you look, you kind of see the whole thing as a structure together, and it's really nice to get some details like that there and how specific that is. And the focus and how you are into a moment. I think to an employer, you'd want to send a few of these, like that one and this, how different they are. And all the skills that are involved within those. We've got partner work, floor work, jumps, even those in rehearsal, stretching. That one, like really specific focus, and everyone in the group's the same. So yeah, I guess you'd decide depending on what you're going for. Yeah.
looking at the photographs, I think really has made me reflect on my performances with 12 Degrees. I think actually now I can see, alongside footage with the photographs, I think I can see how far I've come actually, how much stronger I'm looking, or how much more grounded I am, or how much more expressive I am. So I think it has been really useful, alongside all the other tools like footage and obviously getting notes from things. So I think it has really helped actually, and as well the fact that you can take them away and then use them to get jobs is great.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I agree with you there, that they don't just stand alone. Like they could stand like alone, but they're great in terms of supporting with other forms of documentation. But this is a really important form of documentation as well, I think. Because particularly in an image compared to video, you can kind of capture that moment, and then that moment, you'll never capture that same moment ever again. So I think that that's what's really important about these photographs. I can also remember with this one, like I know that particular move very well. I know how much I've worked on it.
Yeah.
And
you can tell.
Yeah, and I do actually have a picture of this when we first started, and it looks nothing like that. Like I could see on this that I'm engaging my core and things, and it would be really interesting to have this type of documentation done again, like in another few months' time, and then see where you're at again, to see your development. But you can definitely see it. Like I can see that different techniques are stronger than I ever thought they were, especially if we think back to when we were at university as well.
Yeah.
And the type of work we were doing then compared to this type of work.
Yeah.
It's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I've just thought of something while you were talking as well. I think something you triggered, something in my mind. How actually they can really sort of, it's almost like tailored feedback in a way, because I could see the footage of Lee's piece just as a whole, and I probably wouldn't see the detail that I can see here.
Yeah.
Or here. I can see where my eyes are.
It's that moment,
I can see if
isn't
they're
it?
in the right
Yeah.
place. I can see if my fingers are at the right angles. And I can see my expressions in Lucid as well. So it's quite, a set of tailored feedback, I suppose, if that makes sense.
I would say that they do document your journey. These photos were taken a while ago, maybe about 4 months ago now, and since then I have probably grown as a performer and had the time to reflect since the last tour and make sense of some of the things that I've been doing. So these images capture where you were at that particular moment. So if I look back to images not on the table from 2009 when I graduated, and I look at them now, like for example my headshot that I used when I applied for the company, that image was very far away from the person and performer that I am now. So the more recent that the photographs are, the more they reflect the level or ability that you're at right now. So yeah, I would say that these are more recent photographs, so they reflect, I've gained upper body strength for one. I wasn't as strong as I am now, and other aspects, I guess.
These images, I've got a shaved head. Lee's work was very demanding, and it was almost like you were sweating through your head. So all your brain even, it was just leaking out. So it gives me a chance to kind of show that I'm not really scared to change my look, change an image. Also, I can tell the things I've really worked on in some of these images, how to ground my centre, how to connect with other people in the company. And that's a process that I've really had to work on. And it takes us back. An image really can reflect a memory. It's like a memory jumping out for me. And remembering the spaces that you've worked on as well. We've had a great opportunity with 12 Degrees to perform in such a variety of different venues, which is a phenomenal experience. It's something I will never forget, and these photos definitely will bring back memories there. I have. But also, I think, yeah, it shows the progression that we've made in the company. If you'd taken these images earlier on, I would not look like this at all. So I feel quite proud looking at these. Oh my goodness, I look like I know what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah.